Hi everyone. I wanted to walk through the zyLab portion of zyBooks. So within zyBooks, in each chapter, there's going to be several labs that you guys are going to be required to complete. And I just wanted to walk through one of them to show you how it works. So at the start of each lab, you'll see there's going to be an explanation of what the lab's doing. So for example, this one says, write a program that outputs hello world. Now notice there's a statement that says for all labs, end with a new line symbol. So end with a new line, unless otherwise stated. Then you get down to the lab activity itself. Now the lab activity, when you first come in, this check mark won't be there. This is because I've already completed this lab. But when you first come in, it's going to give you a default template. If you work through the lab and you want to start it over again, or maybe you typed in a lot of code and you just want to get back to the default template, you can always just click this button, Load Default Template, and it will refresh the screen with just the template that comes with the lab. All right, below that, notice there is a toggle button. It has Develop Mode and Submit Mode, and I can go from one to the other. And so you're going to start in develop mode. Develop mode is what you use when you want to run the program, and you're going to go ahead and test the code that you wrote to make sure that it's working. Once you feel confident, then you can switch over to the submit mode and submit the program for grading. There are several tests that will be automatically run when you're in submit mode to help you to understand Java, and it'll tell you whether or not your code passes all the tests. If any of them fail, you can go back to develop mode, you can make changes, and then submit again. Depending on the teacher's settings, you might have a limited number of attempts, so you want to make sure you check that with your instructor. All right, below the toggle button there is a statement that says enter program input. If your program requires input, you'll put it there. And finally, there is the button for running the program. So if I run the program right now, I'm in develop mode, so it's not going to give me an error message, but since there's no code in there, it's not going to do much, right? Because it just has on line 2, public static void main. It says your program produced no output. All right, let's update the program to actually print something. So I'm going to type in system.out, let me move my cursor out of the way so you can see it, .print. Remember it said to make sure there is a blank line or a new line. So when you do the print, I want to use print ln for the last thing I'm printing, and I'm only printing one thing. And then in here, in double quotes, I'm going to put hello world, just like what we did with the command line code. All right, now if I click on run program, again, I'm still in develop mode, so it's not going to test it against any output, but it will show me what happens. It'll show me if I have any syntax errors, any logic errors. So it looks like it printed out hello world. That looks good. I think that's all I need. But if I scroll back up, it does have an exclamation point at the end. So I do need to put that back in. So let's go ahead and put that in, and we can run it one more time. And this time, if it shows what we think it's going to show, hello world with an exclamation point, we can switch to submit mode. It looks like it did. Let's go to submit mode, and we'll click on submit for grading. And when you submit for grading, you won't be able to give it any input because the input will be defined by the test condition. And it looks like all my tests passed. There was only one, and it printed out hello world. Okay, so you will keep going until you get this correct, but this is how you're going to use the zyLabs inside the zyBooks. Go ahead and give it a try, even though we worked through this solution together.